Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do an oil change today on a 2010 Lexus ES350. It's got the 3.5 liter 2GR-FE in it. It takes 5W30, and I have not looked up how much oil it takes. I will confirm that, but I think it's in the 6 to 6.5 quart range, but I will go ahead and confirm that in the owner's manual. But it does take 5W30, and I've got some of that, as you can see behind me. I've got a new Toyota oil filter and all the assorted tools that I will show you real quick, and we will go ahead and get started. So thanks for joining me today, and hey guys, if you like this kind of content and stuff, sure would appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button and like. Powered ratchet, manual ratchet, 14mm wrench. I've got a 14 and 10mm socket, and I've got our jug of oil. I do have another jug over here that's got about 3 more quarts in it. So I did check this. It does take 6.4 quarts, so we're good to go there. And so let's get under and start draining. Let's go ahead and loosen this to start with. There we go. I have driven this around to get it warmed up. I don't know why the obsession of cranking these things on. There we go. Look at that. That took quite a bit of force just from extending my thing up to a breaker bar status practically. I don't understand so-called mechanics that work at shops that do oil changes and that do that kind of crap. So let's go ahead and do this and see if I can spare my hands since I don't have gloves here. Oh, yeah, that's what I didn't want. There it is. I was trying to avoid dropping it in there, and I still did it. Let that drain for a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna get the drain bolt back on. We're down to a slow drip. Unlike the previous shop, we will not over tighten. Just nice and snug. There we go, that's all it needs. So our oil filter, this is a canister type of oil filter. So it's hidden right up here. Right there. That's where it's hiding. So we will go ahead and bugger off without too much. Oh good, it's turning. There we go. Okay. Good. That's always my biggest fear. So once again, so many mechanics way over tighten those things. Slide this forward. There we go. It's still too tight to do it by hand. Just want to get it to where it starts to drip. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Now usually, now this is an inverted one, which I really like because they're less messy than the horse. There it comes. So there is you can see this little place right here in the middle. Originally they designed that so that you could take out that bottom piece and it would empty the filter. But I'll be honest, you know, I've never done it and nobody else does it either. So I'll just typically do this and kind of turn it a little bit and let the oil above the filter kind of drain out, and there's not usually very much of it. So once this thing comes completely loose like it is right now, there we go. I just dump whatever's left into it. This is nice though. I will say, this is the first car I've ever done, probably because it's a Lexus, that actually has the metal canister. Everything else that I've ever used is always a plastic one. So you want to slide the old filter out. So open up your new one. You'll actually have two gaskets. The small one you're not going to use unless you open up the bottom of it. So if you open up the bottom piece and unscrew this and let that drain, then you will need to use this little one right here. If not, you can just get rid of that. But you're just going to use this big one and replace this guy right here. So, and the best way to pop this off is just with a small screwdriver, and then just get that off of there using some oil. Go ahead and get a little oil on this new one. So you can see the ring is that bigger groove there. So just roll this down until it seats in that ring, just like this. So now this is why this piece does not need to be cranked down as tight as you can possibly get it. So you do not need to seat this against the engine block or this piece right here. This ring is what does the sealing. So you just want to make it snug, and that is it. Snug is fine. So once you get that on there, go ahead and take your new filter and just snap that on like that. And we are essentially ready to go. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take some oil and I'm going to go ahead and pre-fill this. Since it screws in just like this, it won't pour out. If it's a horizontal filter, it's hard to do that with a canister style because it'll want to pour out. You can get some in there because the filter element will kind of soak it up, and you can get it screwed on before it all pours out. But if it's an inverted one like this, it's great because it's not going anywhere. And it will build oil pressure much faster, and you know, in those tenths of a second, it makes a difference. So take care of your engine when you're doing these oil changes. And shops won't do this. So this is another nice little thing that you know, can make a difference if you're going to be keeping a car long term. I mean, this is a 2010 Lexus. The 2GR-FE is a fantastic engine. This car only has 75,000 miles on it. Runs like it's brand new. Just purrs like a kitten. And so smooth. So got that to where it's holding. And we'll go screw this back on. All right. Straight back up into. There we go. Okay, now what I do is I get that to where sometimes you can't get it all the way snug with your hand, but that is snug with your hand, and then I just give it a little tug and just make sure that it's all the way on, which it is, and that is good. You don't have to crank on it. That is sealed and that is done, and we are finished underneath. So we got our new oil filter on, we got our drain plug on. So now we can go back up top, we can fill it up with oil. 6.4 quarts, we do have a little bit of oil in here that we already put in. And then we'll give it a start, make sure we don't have any leaks, and we'll be good to go. I did notice that there are a couple of clips missing here. This is my mom's car. I am visiting her in New Mexico right now, so I went ahead and just ordered some clips on Amazon so I can get, and they'll be here tomorrow, so I can get these snapped in. Ironically, there is an Amazon distribution center about 2 miles away from here. So that's nice, but I'll get those clips snapped in, and so this will be nice and snug and won't be flapping around on us, so, or on her. And but let me get the oil poured in and we'll be good to go. So we'll go ahead and get the oil poured in here. Now this is a great example of the same engine here recommending 5W30, and 2 years later on a 2012 taking 0W20. Now did they change anything internally requiring 0W20? No, I don't think so. It's simply because trying to wrangle out the most economy and putting a thinner oil in it. So, and that's why I do truly believe that any car running 0W20, that, you know, if you feel better, especially if you live in a hot climate like this in New Mexico, or you run a car hard, that you could run a 5W30 or even a 0W30 and be perfectly fine. And even if you gave up a couple tenths of a mile per gallon, you would actually probably protect your engine long term even better. So my 2 cents. But let me go ahead and get this started up and we'll check underneath and make sure everything's good. Alrighty guys, just did a startup, checked underneath, everything's fine, no drips. Everything looks good. She's good to go for another year. We'll close up the hood. I got her pulled down. So we are all done. Thanks for joining me, guys. Appreciate you coming along. Please leave any comments, questions, anything down below. And until next time, we'll see you down the road.